Did you know that the tallest building in the world used to be half the height of the Empire State Building? Welcome to my channel. Today we're exploring the history of architecture in New York City. When the British took over New Amsterdam in 1664, they brought with them the architectural style of their time, which can still be seen today in the oldest remaining building in the city, the 1740s, Federal Hall at Wall Street and Broadway. This led to the development of new construction methods, such as the steel skeleton frame, which allowed buildings to reach new heights. The first building to use this method was the 1854 Tribune Building at 41 Park Row, which was also the first modern skyscraper at 10 stories. Just 4 years later, in 1898, the 912-foot or 278-meter Singer Building was completed, designed by architect Isam P. Burnham. The 1908 60-story Woolworth Building, designed by architect Cass Gilbert, was the first building to use limestone in its facade, giving it the nickname the Cathedral of Commerce. And the 1913 64-story Singer Building at 7th Avenue and 52nd Street was the first building to have an elevator that reached all the way to the roof. It featured a steel frame with terracotta and masonry. This was the first building to use this new technology, which would become the standard for skyscraper construction. This new technology allowed for the buildings to be much taller than before, and also allowed for large windows to be installed, letting in more natural light. This style became very popular, and soon the skyline began to change dramatically. At 792 feet, or 241 meters, it was the tallest building in the world, even taller than the Great Pyramid of Giza. If you want to learn more about the city's rich history, stay tuned for more information. Designed by architect John Van Vleck, the Gothic-inspired skyscraper featured a steel frame with limestone and terracotta. The first inhabitants of the area were the Lenape people, followed by the Dutch in the 1600s. During the 18th century, New York was a small village of only a few thousand people. It wasn't until after the American Revolution that the city began to grow. But it was the 1894 World Building that truly signified the birth of the modern skyscraper. Standing at 712 feet, or 217 meters, it was the tallest building in the world, even taller than the Eiffel Tower. Designed by architect William Van Alen, the Beaux-Arts style facade was highly ornamented with intricate stonework and sculptures. In 1785, the first non-residential skyscrapers began to appear. These early examples were the 10 and 12-story Marble Palace at Wall Street and the 12-story Federal-style City Hall, both designed by architect John McCone Jr. in the 1820s and 30s. New Yorkers wanted to improve their quality of life and began tearing down the old buildings to make way for larger structures. By the 1890s, several 20-story buildings had been constructed, including the Manhattan Life Insurance Building and the Manhattan Trust Building, both designed by architect Richard Morris Hunt, but the title of world's tallest building didn't last long. By the early 1900s, New York City's skyline was dotted with skyscrapers, each one more ambitious than the last. But it was the 1913 Woolworth Building at Park Row and Fulton Street that truly symbolized the city's architectural prowess. I hope you enjoyed this brief history of architecture in New York City.